And I am live. Good. Finally. So, how are you doing? Happy Tuesday. How is everybody doing? I am doing fantastic. So, today we are going another route. So, you see this book? I wrote this book and I published it. This is a compilation of all 27 hustles that I've done. I'm at hustle 29. This smoky trolley is hustle number 29. So if you want to know all my other hustles, they are here in Get Out and Sell. It is a command, get out and sell, because no one's coming to save you. And I give you 25 hustles that I did, and actually and a bonus, right? Yeah, so in this book you will find all those hustles, you'll find the stories, and you will find startup notes. So you won't be on your own when you're starting. You will know exactly how much you're going to need. You'll know exactly what materials and tools that you will need. You will know how much profit you will get in this story, Get Out and Sell. In this book, that is both a storybook and a guide. It's gonna be amazing. So we are going to be discussing this week. I am so excited for this. This week we are going to be discussing hustle number 25, which is the clear bucket hustle, French beans, or the veggie salad, the veggies mix. Let's call it the veggies mix. So, well, it didn't begin fancy, by the way. It began by me being so desperate, wondering what the fuck has my life become, and wondering, what am I going to do now? I am broke, I sleep hungry, my chicken eat like goats, and they rarely have food. So what am I going to do? I sat around and I wondered, oh my God, what do? I have no money to start anything fancy. The digital marketing proposals are not getting a yes. So what am I going to do? Well, the only thing was to get a clear bucket, put in my favorite stew, and sell it by the cup. And so let us talk. This entire week we will be discussing that. We will go into the details. I will tell you the stories. We will talk about the money. We will talk about everything that I did with the clear bucket and the meshiri, French beans, if you're not a Kikuyu. So let's get into it. We will start by reading the story. I am so excited because I've been wanting to do this, but I've been pushing it because there is somewhere I needed to do there are some things I needed to get done so that I could start sharing the stories in this book, talking to you about it, and just having a discussion about it. So let's begin. Hustle number 25. It's business number 25, the veggies mix hustle. So we'll start with the story and then I'll get into it. And of course I'll interject a lot because that's my specialty. I feel like I've done this before. So let's begin. So the title of this story, the veggies mix hustle number 25, and it is how I turned hunger heat. Oh, it was so hot. I was in a place called Kagio, and the sun there, oh my God. Okay, I think Kutus is a bit hotter, but back then I was outside, so I could feel it. I remember when I used to grab the bucket and get out of the market now, and the sun will hit me. Poof! It's like, what? It's like a fight, It's like the sun is fighting me and I'm fighting for my life and everything is fighting against me. But let's go into it. How I timed hunger because I was very hungry and even my chicken were hungry. The heat, the sun, and hustle into a healthy profit. Let's get into it. Alright. After moving to a small village town, because I was in the village, now I moved into a town, the village town, with my 30 young chicks and 20K from the ripeness, life hit different. Now this is after I had done a bit of farming, because if you read the book, the hustle before this is when I got an investment for my mother's land, and I worked with this big ass farmer. He invested in me, I leveraged my land, and I learned a lot from him, and I managed my shamba for him and gave him silage at the end of it, and he gave me some 20K after that. Yes, you should learn to do that. I realized we have land, we didn't have resources to farm, but there was somebody who needed this resource. He needed silage, all right? So I told him, I can farm for you. You give me the resources that I need. You give me the money. You give me the fertilizers. You give me the knowledge, because I've never farmed, but I can manage the hell of that shamba. I can get people to work. I can get everything. At the end of the 6 months, 6 months, I will give you your silage and you give me some money. It was like, cool. So I had the 20K, and what I did, the first thing is I invested into chicken, because I wanted to farm chicken. Because I'd been inspired by this guy. This guy was farming a lot of chicken. He had like 6,000 chicken. Can you imagine 6,000 chicken? Yeah, so I looked at what he was doing. He was selling eggs wholesale to everybody. Everybody was buying eggs from him. So I learned from him, and I thought I could start that. And when I began the chicken business, I thought it was going to blow up into this big thing. I didn't see what was going to come. I didn't foresee. But I started, because you gotta start. You don't have to know everything about something so that you can start. And if you sit around and wait to know everything, you will never get it done, because all the fear will be instilled in you. It's best you do it when you are just naive, okay? So I have my 30 chicks. I already had like 4 chicks, 4 kienyeji ones. So I had bought them from my auntie, ile mlipa mdogo mdogo, until they became mine. And then now I bought 30 chicks, 30 improved kienyeji chicks. These are Saso breed. So I had my 4 chicks that had grown up, and then I had these 30 chicks. And then at the same time that I was brooding these chicks and I was raising them, my kienyeji chicks wakaanza kukanyagwa, wakaanza kutaga. So hata hao walikuwa na watoto wao, which was really fantastic. But then now, as you'll have it when you're around family, and especially extended family, they get jealous if you start progressing, which wasn't even progress really. So I had to move from there to the town, from the village to the town. So I moved, but now I have my 20 chicks and the money that was buying me a lot of feeds and all of that. Now life hit very different when I came to the town. It's very different, okay? The chicks were adorable, they were. And the reason why I even thought about chicks today and I wanted to talk about them is because I moved to a village here in the next town that I moved. After that town, I have gone to live in a village area. So where I'm living, there are a lot of I'm surrounded by villagers, so they have chicken and I get to see their chicken every day, and their chicken have chicks. So when I see that, I'm often reminded of my experience back in the village raising chicken, which was really beautiful, right? So the chicks were adorable. That's done. So the chicks were adorable, but my God, they ate like small goats. They were eating like small goats. I swear they were eating. Chicken can eat. And if you want to begin a chicken business, trust me, you have to be prepared to feed them. Chicken eat. You see this improved kienyeji of mine, these Saso ones, Heriata our kienyeji. The Saso ones, they were so used to eating, and then I made the mistake of leaving the feed in their shed. So at night I'll hear them wake up and start eating. Can you imagine? It was so crazy. They used to eat a lot, and then they are both broiler and layers. Yes, so they eat a lot. They just eat and eat and eat. They're always thinking about food, and when you remove food from them, they're like they want to eat. They don't know anything else but eating. All right. So I ran out of money fast because it was always in the feed, and you want to keep on feeding them, because the more you feed them, the more they grow, the more they lay their eggs. So you want to keep feeding them, all right? So one afternoon, as I bought my usual French beans from my market lady, I thought her mix lacked personality. I'm a spicy girl and I love color in my food. So broke but creative, I made myself a salad. French beans, carrots, courgette, butternut, red cabbage, and a hit of broccoli. So this was the thing. In Kagio market, as every other town, I guess, people are always what, they kata the French beans and then they mix them with carrots, right? I mean, you can see that in Thika, you can see it in Tao, Nairobi, sindio? So in Tao Kwanza, people mix them up nicely. They put carrots, they put broccoli, they put cauliflower, they put a lot of stuff. They put a slice of, what is it called, butternut. It's usually very attractive to the eye. And then they sell a pack for 50 bob. So I'd grown up seeing that. And then I come to the village, and the only thing they are doing is mixing the French beans with carrots. And me, I'm used to spice, and naturally I love spice. So what I did is I started making for myself. So I get the ones with carrots, but then I go look for butternut, I look for broccoli. But then it's also expensive because, like, you get broccoli, the cheapest broccoli you can get is 50 bob. Cauliflower is 150. Hi! Welcome to my live. When you get here, send me a fire emoji. Yeah. Tell me that you're here. Comment. I'm open to questions. I want to answer all your questions and tell you my story and share more business knowledge so that we can get rich, alright? So I used to put all these things together and then make myself a salad. So one time, I'm eating this and I love it, right? I have red cabbage, I have butternut, I have courgettes, broccoli. Let's wait for these ones to pass because they're gonna... So I'm loving my veggie salad. So one day I'm thinking, what if there are other people who like it like this? Just what if? I mean, it's a village and I expect nothing out of this village, but maybe there's just maybe some people who like a bit spice in their food, alright? And I thought, yeah. So when hunger hit and the chicken were demanding so much food, and you know, I just wanted to be active because staying in the house is so boring, and chicken alone, they can't keep you busy enough, okay? And I'm somebody who's used to moving a lot, alright? So I decided I'm gonna sell French beans by the bucket, and it was the hardest thing I ever did. Because all my adult life, I have never had to do that, to hawk. The last time I hawked, I was in campus in third year. And since then, nikaacha, you know, like I got into freelancing, I worked from my house, I started a magazine, I started companies. I felt like I had made it a bit. And then all of that crashed. I come to the village and I have to start over and I have to pick a bucket. A clear bucket. I'm literally a watermelon girl, okay? So I think, fuck it, I'm gonna do this, alright? So I make my veggie salad, my veggies mix. It looks beautiful to me. It's so colorful, it's so beautiful, and voila, I go out to the streets. And the method that I use is that I go business to business. I go from one business to the next. I go selling them. So the first day I sell them at 30 bob because everybody is used to selling, buying that cup of French beans at 30 bob. So I go and I'm speaking to these people nicely and I'm beautifully dressed and people are very excited to buy from me. They're like, yeah, come back another time. Wow, this is nice. We like that you're hustling. Blah, 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 blah. Yes. Because a beautiful girl is humiliating herself. What? Yes, I know I am beautiful. So I sell and I like it. The first day I make 600, right? I made 600. Was it 600? I still have the record somewhere. 600 with a bit of 400 profit, because back then, this is the thing, I was buying French beans from my neighbor who was farming. She was selling them at 30 bob. Was it 30 bob? Or was it 50 bob? I think it was 50 bob. 30 bob, yeah. 30 bob per kg. She's a farmer, so she was selling me 30 bob per kg, which was really good because the first day I bought 3 kgs, 30 bob, that's 90 bob, right? I went to the market and I bought a butternut at 30 bob. I bought some carrots at 1 kg of carrots at maybe 40 bob. So by the end, I probably used 250 or 300. So the first day I made 400 profit, and when I went back home, I was like, yeah, well, this is not bad. I could be doing this, right? So I started now every day, okay? So after 1 week of selling, I realized, why am I selling this improved mix at 30 bob? I should sell it more because I'm doing more, right? So I decide I'm going to sell it at 40 bob. And this is when I meet my first challenges, because these people are used to 30 bob and they want, if you're improving, you still sell it at 30 bob so that they can pick you from the other 30 bob sellers. But me, I say, you know what, I'm gonna sell it at 40 bob because I'm doing a lot. And then I realized that there was a lot of fear because it's a village. People are like, hizi vitu umetuwekea nini, hizi ni nyingi sana, tutaki hizi. So I decided I'm going to make it courgette, butternut, French beans and carrots, which was a pretty nice mix. And then there were some days I'll be like, today I'm going to put in some broccoli, tomorrow I'm going to put in some some cauliflower, like that. Today I'm going to put in some red cabbage, like that. And so I started the thing. Let's continue the story. So I started small, 40 to 50 shillings a cup. But then there was a time that the meshiri became very expensive. Now, after 1 to 2 weeks of selling, I moved to the market. Oh my God. Because I wanted to understand how the market works, and it seemed like the best place for me to be, because also this like buying and going, making them, staying at home the entire day while I'm making them was also boring, because I was getting so bored. Like since morning until 3 I am working on them, and then 4 I leave and I go, I sell, and then it was becoming boring. So I thought I'll just go and work from the market, buy my shit from the market, learn people, know people who are selling this stuff, and make even more customers as I do it, right? So I decided and I went to the market. Hey, the market is not easy, yo. It is not for the light-hearted, the weak. The night before I went to the market, I was like, they are going to eat me alive. The women there are going to eat me alive already. Kirinyagan women are strong, they are strong, and they're also audacious and a bit rude. Actually, not a bit. They're extremely rude, alright? I grew up with aunties from Kirinyaga. I used to think these women are so rude. And now I'm getting, it's a Kirinyagan way. So, yeah. So I was very scared. First day I was going there, I was like, but I'm gonna hold my ground. Hey, nobody's going to make me feel like I do not belong. This is my mother's land. I'm going to fight for shit. So I went there. I talked to a friend from church. She connected me to the place where I would be the leader of that place. She went and gave me a bad space, Like I wasn't even given space. I was told, so unataka tu kata utaki kuuza, si ndio? Okay, fine. So I was given a place to sit, like a log, like sijui kama mnaelewa, unachiki like a sort of log. So sit there and do your shit. So you just want to cut and then you'll go. I'm like, yeah. So I went and I sat down, started cutting my shit. I tried to clean up this place, and it's also the dumping ground for everybody. And then there are just people who have been waiting for me to just show me, hey, watu ni wabaya huku nje. I'm not even doing, they are so, ni watu wachache sana wanafanya the business that I'm doing, but already by me being there, watu washaanza kunikasirikia, watu washaanza big fights na mimi. I'm like, hey, what is this, right? This is weird. This is crazy. So anyway, I hold my head up and I'm like, I'm here to get food. I am here to put my mind to work, my body to work. So I'm not gonna give a fuck about these ladies, alright? So I hold my head high, I cut my meshiri, I cut my French beans, and I sell. I'm a good seller. By the way, I am a good seller, especially with door to door. Sometimes I sit here at the trolley and I wonder, am I wasting my talent? Because I am good at selling. I'm good at convincing people. I'm good at negotiating. I'm good at presenting myself. I'm great at it. So sometimes I sit here and I'm like, just waiting for customers. It's also boring, so boring. It took me a while to adjust to this kind of life, but also I had become so tired of doing it. I did it for 2 years, and I grew a bit tired. So also it works the way it works, okay? So that happened. I went to the market. Nikaanza people pretended to be my friends to know just what I'm made of and what I'm capable of. Yeah. But also I learned a lot by staying in the business, because in the market, because I am very observant. I observe. Even here I am just observing. By the time I am done with this place, I'll know a lot. The next business I'm putting up, or the way my business will gradually go, it will be so amazing. You won't even believe, because I learned. I was there in the market. It wasn't easy, but yeah. And sometimes people will buy from me, even from the market. I remember this Kanjo lady who was buying from me. I still remember her fondly. Na vile nilikuanga na shida sometimes. And then sometimes the meshiri. Now in the market is when I realized I didn't even know how to bargain. Because one time somebody came and told me, yo, tunauza meshiri. Unataka meshiri, you know they come chini ya maji. So they tell me they have meshiri, they have the vanilla. Vanilla is the good kind. It's nono and it's long, right? And it's always fresh. And they were from the shamba. Like tunauza meshiri. And I negotiated up to what? I thought I'd done such a good job. Up to 30 bob per kg. So I went and I told some other ladies who were also selling meshiri. But them, they were selling wholesale, okay? They had their kibandas. So I went and told them. These ladies came and damaged that negotiation. They were like, we are not buying at that price. So at the end, they bought them at 20 bob per kg. And so I learned how to bargain by watching that. There's even a day that I bought at 15 bob per kg, 10 kg, because sometimes they will come, and if you have money, you just buy, all right? Which was really amazing. Let's continue with the story. So I started small, 40 to 50 shillings a cup. So when the meshiri prices hiked, I also hiked my prices to 50 bob. Sometimes the courgette would be high, sometimes the carrot. And sometimes people wouldn't even understand, but you try it and convince them. Sometimes I lost customers. Most people didn't buy from me because I was too expensive and too exorbitant, too flamboyant. They didn't like, some of them were too traditional. They were like, haufai kufanya hivyo, it's a village, atunaweka meshiri courgette, haufai kufanya hivyo. And then they look at me like I've done something. It's like I've slept with somebody's husband on the street on open daylight, you know. But the people who got it, they got it. The people who got it, they got it. And sometimes it was bad. I remember a certain day I carried home a half a bucket of meshiri. Like when I was deep into this shit, there were days I used to cry because, yo, what the fuck is happening, right? And then there were times, me and this lady, she was also called Wamboi. So Wamboi used to sell French beans as well. She used to sell like the spices thing. French beans, lemons, ho-hos, alright? And sometimes when they remain, we used to get out of the market and sell outside the market, because at night people used to come by the market, yes? So we'll be outside. Meshiri. Oh my God. I remember those days that I just pity myself because I was there. Meshiri, hadi napata sore throat. Because size mebaki nyingi, nilienda around and people have not bought, and I'm there. Meshiri. And people started calling me Meshiri. Yo. But yeah, there were some really tough days. There were some really good days, like really good. Like I sell in less than 30 minutes everything that I have. Yeah. I remember this particular man who used to, my loyal customer, like he would buy from me, like he would call me and tell me, yo, bring me 4 cups right now. Bring me 5 cups right now. And he will pay, even if hataki discount or anything, just buys and appreciates. there were these ladies, I used to go to their homes on Saturdays, and they would call me, and then one of them would recommend me to other people. It was nice. It was nice. So, by the way, it expands. But let's continue with the story. I'm not done. Alright, so sold door to door in the local market, at local shops. The village sun was brutal. It was aki. And then sometimes I will be, see, like I've grabbed the bucket, the clear bucket, and I'm getting out of the market, and then the Kirinyaga sun. You see, huku chini, huku kwenye mchele na nyanya zinaguliwa kuna kwanga na jua. Hectic, okay? So it just hits me like poof, and all of my dignity falls. It's like, I'm a graduate. I graduated. I'm supposed to have better. I'm supposed to have better. And sometimes when people are not buying, it just starts hitting me too hard. It's like, what's my life becoming, right? And that Kirinyagan sun was hot. And the sun hits you so bad. It just drains your energy. Like, people can tell you a lot about business, but no one tells you about how cruel the sun can be. Hi, welcome to my live. Throw in an emoji, talk to me. Hi, Renee. I'm pronouncing it right? Renee 10, how are you? So let's continue. So the village sun was brutal, but I wore my smile like sunscreen. I couldn't even afford sunscreen. But I used to smile. I used to treat my customers like royalty. When you wanakata. Some people used to hate on me because atina mix vitu zenye wajaiona zikimixiwa. But you know, some people like really got used to it. There is a time prices French beans and courgettes went so high. So, and even carrots. So mixing everything became so difficult. So I started mixing, well, where else normally I would mix like the French beans, carrots, courgettes, butternut, and maybe on the weekends put in some broccoli or cauliflower or red cabbage. Now I removed the butternut and everything. So I remained with carrots, French beans, and what's the other thing? Keep winning, thank you. And what did I say? Courgettes. Hi girl, hope you're doing fine. I'm doing fine, Renee. Hope you are too. So French beans, carrots, and courgettes. I remain with that. So what impressed me is that I will do that and tell my customers, you know what? I can't add I can't add the butternut because the prices have hiked so much. So you need to just understand and take it as it is. And they would understand. But then, in the background, because I had made them so used to my mix, my special mix, they will go and buy the butternut. So they'll tell me, you know what, yes, we understand, but bado sisi tutajirudia. Ushatuzoesha. I'm like, what? So it used to be nice. It was very validating that I came up with my own special mix and people loved it. And then people in the market started copying me. Oh, fuck. It was so irritating. Like, I come up with this idea of courgettes, adding courgettes to they already do the French beans and carrots. I add courgettes and they also start adding courgettes. And then they sell them at 30 bob. So that I look like the bad person. It was really annoying, so annoying. But funny enough, at the end, it was just me and another girl who copied me who continued doing it. Somehow it didn't work for the other people like it worked for me because I knew what I was doing. And I'm just a spicy person, okay? So let's continue. The village sun was brutal. Tunarudi hapo. But I wore my smile like sunscreen. Some said it was too much. Hey, toko isiosio the guy inakwambia watu wa village. You just brace yourself for the worst, all right? And then some people said it was too expensive because they're used to it being 30 bob and I'm selling it at 40 bob. So they want me to sell it at 30 bob still while having all this hazards. But those who got it, they loved it. There are people who worked with me from the beginning to the end. They never let me go, and it was beautiful to see it. My veggies salad became my lifeline. I learned how to negotiate with market women. Like, come on, I was somebody who could only negotiate up to, especially when I went to the market, they were like fresh meat. They are like, we are selling at 60 bob per kg. So I learned how to negotiate up to when I was being sold at 15 bob. That was good. But then there was a time it got to even 110. I remember buying at 110 and I was like, hey, nikubaya. I don't even know why I didn't quit. I learned how to negotiate with market women, understand customer behavior. Like, there are people who are never going to buy. Like, there was this particular woman when one day was desperate and she told me she will only buy it at 35 bob and she's buying 1 cup. And I was so desperate, I ended up selling to her.